In 2001, Dean Marrazzo purchased the Olde Stone Mill, a historic textile mill on the edge of the Bronx River in Tuckahoe, New York. He did most of the restoration work himself and transformed the rundown 200-year-old mill into a fine dining establishment. But a few years after opening, and the restaurant is not getting the number of customers Dean expected. The confident owner is somewhat perplexed as to why no one wants to visit his restaurant.
I don't believe there's a better operator or restaurateur than me, but no one's coming in.
Dean's frustrations boils over to his staff, whom he pins the restaurant's underperformance on. Morale is low at the Olde Stone Mill as a result, in particular with the head chef Michael, who is no longer enthusiastic about his role in the kitchen. Chef Mike's lack of passion means the kitchen has resorted to creating a bunch of gimmicky dishes in an attempt to lure customers into the restaurant. Nothing so far seems to be working for Dean. Due to the lack of customers, he's having trouble paying his employees' salaries and is behind on his mortgage. According to Dean, supporting his family is a challenge.
I need money for dry cleaning.
Money? What about these people? Think they need money?
Despite being hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and his dream on the verge of bankruptcy, Dean refuses to change. How will this cocky owner take to the famously blunt Michelin-starred chef telling him like it is?
Dude, you're a fake.
Fuck you, you're a fake.
You're a fucking fake.
Will Dean listen to Chef Ramsay's advice? Or was he too stubborn to change in the long run? Gordon decides to make a bold entrance for this episode. He rides a motorbike through Westchester County on his way to the Olde Stone Mill in Tuckahoe. When he pulls up, he's taken aback at how stunning the outside of the building looks. He can't fathom why nobody is eating there. Chef Ramsay is greeted upon entry by Dean, as well as the general manager Tom and the hostess Jeannie. As usual, Gordon has a way with the slightly more mature female staff members, as Jeannie fawns over her handsome visitor.
Said hello to me. Well, first of all, I like blonde men, so he was adorable.
Gene, nice to see you.
Following the introductions, Gordon takes a seat to look over the menu. The waiter assures him the crab cakes are freshly made, so he places an order for one of those, along with a few other, mostly seafood dishes. While waiting for his food, Gordon does not tear apart the restaurant's physical interior, as he often does, since the Olde Stone Mill overall looks pretty good on the inside. But while patiently waiting for his food, he does catch one of the waiters chewing gum.
Are you chewing gum?
Yes, sir.
You are. Is that normal?
After a half-hour wait, the so-called freshly made crab cakes arrive. According to Gordon, they have an unusual flavor that reminds him of sour mayonnaise. Even the shrimp aren't to his liking. He just can't get his head around the idea of using deep-fried shrimp to make a shrimp cocktail. Following that is a weirdly shaped chopped salad. Ramsay wonders how they were able to mold the salad into a perfect cone. He finds out they use an oil funnel to make the shape.
Was the chef a mechanic?
No.
No.
Aside from its appearance, people actually enjoy it.
Despite the unique presentation, the taste of the salad is repulsive, according to Ramsay. The stuffed tilapia, which comes served in a paper bag, is equally unsatisfactory, but with an unappealing appearance, it looks like a soiled bag. Finally, the rice and the mushroom risotto clings to the roof of his tongue, and it tastes terrible.
Why aren't more people coming here? I don't know. I really don't know.
Following an underwhelming lunch, Gordon sits down with Dean to be frank about the food at the Olde Stone Mill. He learns the crab cakes were actually made with canned crab meat, not fresh, as the waiter had claimed when Gordon ordered them. Annoyed at that revelation, Gordon then forces Dean to try the food he ordered. Since Dean thinks the food is great, he has no problem with it.
My 8-year-old daughter could cook better than that.
Gordon tells Dean his food is crap, stunning Jeannie and Mike with his bluntness. Dean tries to remain composed by pacing back and forth, venting his anger. By that point, it had gotten late though, and everyone agrees it would be enough for day one. The following day, Gordon has a meeting with Dean and his wife Barbara to discuss the restaurant's financial status. The atmosphere in the room is tense, as Ramsay aims to get the tight-lipped Dean to open up about the true financial state of the restaurant, which he hasn't revealed to anyone yet, not even to Barbara. Barbara claims that Dean conceals certain details about the restaurant from her. Dean claims he keeps her in the dark so that she doesn't have to go through the same stress that he's been going through, since they already have 2 mortgages and a home equity line of credit on their house. Keeping up with the home payments and employee paychecks has been a major challenge. When Ramsay inquires about the weekly financial losses, Dean stuns Barbara by revealing that they have $500,000 in debt on the restaurant at that point. Barbara realizes their financial situation is far different than what she thought it was. At that point, both her and Dean had grown accustomed to an upscale lifestyle, complete with fancy wardrobes. She's seen sporting an incredibly pricey Burberry coat for much of the episode, for example. But now, all of that has changed for her after hearing how bad the situation is. Ramsay looks baffled as to what to do next. The restaurant is busy that evening because it is Saturday night, the only night of the week the place is bustling with customers. Unfortunately, Chef Mike has no one to help him in the kitchen. He's a one-man army back there. As such, it is taking up to an hour for the dishes to be sent out to the customers. The diners aren't too pleased when their food finally arrives, and are sending their dishes back to the kitchen right after they get them.
The dishes we have suck.
Suck? I can't believe you'd be so fucking polite.
Michael, who was already behind schedule, is in over his head with the return dishes. Things are not improving due to Dean's pressure. Dean forces Michael to put speed ahead of quality. At the end of the hectic Saturday evening service, Gordon takes the staff aside to discuss how the night went. Prioritizing speed over quality was a bad move by Dean, according to Ramsay. A defiant Dean fights back, not willing to accept any of Ramsay's criticisms. Gordon tells his staff he needs a moment alone with Dean. Dean thinks Gordon is out of touch and can't relate to the problems he's having.
You don't go to the table and ask people how their meal was? Or no, you probably pay 10 people to go to the table.
I listen to the phone every morning to see how fucking fully booked I am.
Gordon tells Dean he's a fake. This causes Dean to storm off in anger. Gordon asks him if he's going to deal with his problems by running away from them. Dean still feels Chef Ramsay can't relate to his situation.
I have a commitment to this place that you'll probably never have to any place in your life, ever. What? Did I stutter?
Gordon tells him he takes pride in his appearance. He's well groomed and dresses well. He needs to apply those same high standards to his restaurant. The evening comes to a close with Gordon realizing the problem is Dean's fear of failure, which is preventing him from making the necessary changes needed for success. The following morning, Gordon heads into town to investigate the local rivals to the Olde Stone Mill. He finds out that there are numerous eateries nearby, especially Italian restaurants, but notes the absence of a local steakhouse. Back at the restaurant, Gordon gathers Michael in the kitchen and shows him a different technique for making the chopped salad. Chef Mike is thrilled to have a private one-on-one lesson from one of the world's greatest chefs. Also, to show the kitchen staff that he really means business, Ramsay takes a creme brulee torch and melts down the oil funnels used to make the salad. He gets no opposition from Mike or any of the kitchen staff. In fact, Mike is thrilled with the new direction of the Olde Stone Mill. Meeting with Dean, Tom, and Michael back in the dining area, Gordon decides to unveil his restaurant proposal. When asked if there is a steakhouse in town, Gordon responds no. The entire staff is on board with the new concept. Everybody is ready to move forward with it except for Dean, because he thinks changing direction is a sign of weakness. Gordon says either way, with or without him, in the morning they're changing the menu and relaunching the restaurant. Overnight, Gordon's design team added some touches to the Olde Stone Mill to give it a bit of a refresh. But before the staff sees the inside of the restaurant, Gordon has a surprise out front. He's gotten them the one thing that was needed, a sign for the restaurant, which includes Steakhouse on it. As they go inside, they see a dining area that has been decluttered and opened up to unveil a brighter interior space. Everyone likes the improvement to the decor, even Dean. But accepting changes to the decoration is one thing. Accepting an entire new concept for the menu is another. Gordon has almost completely removed all traces of the old menu. The new menu features Steakhouse Classics, which, given that it will be the only steakhouse around for miles, is a wise decision. That evening is relaunch night. The mayor is among those in attendance for the evening. Pretty soon the restaurant will be full. The pressure is on for both the front and back of the house. 45 minutes into the dinner service and only a handful of the customers have been served. Everyone else, even the mayor, has to wait. The customers who do get their food rave about it though. Now there's another problem holding things up in the kitchen. Michael claims he is unable to obtain the tickets due to a malfunctioning printer. Dean thinks it is Michael's fault and starts to lose it on Michael.
In the salad printer, it's been an hour and I got nothing! Give me the fucking ticket!
Oh, fucking hell, here we go.
Yelling so loudly that his voice can be heard in the dining area by the customers. Gordon rushes in, gathers everyone, and demands that they get it together to restore service. As soon as the printer turns on, the food is brought to the table. Everyone, from the customers to the mayor, is raving about the food. Overall, the relaunch night is a success. The locals of Tuckahoe are thrilled to have a steakhouse they can visit from now on. Gordon confronts Dean the following day, explaining that his fear of failing is the root of his problems. Dean still thinks Gordon can't relate to his failures. Gordon shares his own experience of failure when he opened a restaurant that did not succeed in his hometown. Gordon advises him to stop avoiding difficult situations and overcome his fears. He can't afford to ignore things anymore. Dean admits, therefore, he needs to change. Before Gordon departs, he has one last surprise waiting for Dean. He takes him outside to show him that the Olde Stone Mill name is now displayed on the side of the restaurant using a lighting system. The episode comes to an end in March 2007. Gordon revisited the Olde Stone Mill the following year. He's greeted warmly by Dean as he enters the building for the second time. Gordon takes note of a slimmed down and cleaned up version of Dean. He's looking very well, with Gordon joking that he must have got him Botox. Dean shows the New York Times article that the Olde Stone Mill was featured in the prior week, which he has proudly framed and hung on the wall. The good news is that sales are up 25 to 30% compared to the previous year, which means his staff, as well as his mortgage, are being paid. Dean seems happy, but how about the rest of the staff? Gordon heads to the kitchen, worried Chef Mike may have gone back to his old ways. As such, Gordon searches the kitchen frantically for any signs of a funnel.
I bought this just for you, and you owe me $4. You burned my last two.
Mike tells Gordon they still keep one funnel around to fill the salt and pepper shakers with. After having a laugh, Gordon tells Chef Mike he is relieved to see him doing well with the new menu. Back in the dining room, Gordon takes a seat with Dean and Barbara. Everyone can see that Dean looks much more relaxed than he did compared to the previous year.
It was the changes that he made to me. Gordon gave me a swift kick in my you-know-what.
I'm happy you're both happy.
The revisited episode ends as Dean receives an award from New York Beef Industry Council. This is a copy of the New York Times article from 2008 that Dean framed and displayed on the wall. The writer had reviewed the restaurant before, in 2006, and while overall pleased with Dean's efforts to bring new life into the building, was disappointed with the food. The 2008 New York Times review ends with a good rating. The reviewer does point out that the huge table and two sofas that Chef Ramsay's team had cleverly placed in the middle of the room had been pushed next to the fireplace side of the room, obscuring it for most customers. I guess that was a design style Dean didn't want to continue with. Following the show's airing, Dean made several TV appearances, Jay Leno, Ellen DeGeneres, as well as others. Not mentioned on the show, but Dean has been an actor for several decades, both before and after his appearance on Kitchen Nightmares. In fact, around the time he was on Kitchen Nightmares, Dean was filming a movie, playing the role of a casino manager in Yonkers Joe, which had its debut at the 2008 Tribeca Film Festival. Here is a clip along with some other roles Dean has been in over the years.
By 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, you won't be able to make a $10 bet in any casino.
I got the money, don't get crazy.
Crazy? I'll show you crazy. I'm crazy. Listen to me. If you and that freehold don't have...
What I do is lend people money, like a bank. And then I collect interest on the money.
What's interest?
Interest is the people pay me back the money they owe me, plus a little extra for me.
Don't you walk away from me. You're a kid. And don't get me started on your mom. If Vera didn't want to go dancing all the time and all those getaway vacations, Jack could probably still be here.
Although things seem to be looking good for the restaurant post-Kitchen Nightmares, Dean and Barbara sold the Olde Stone Mill in 2009 to Gene D. Napoli, an actor, musician, and Elvis impersonator. Up to the end of 2018, the Di Napoli family ran it as Di Napoli's Stone Mill, an Italian restaurant, with a name change to Florio's Olde Stone Mill post-2017, named in honor of the new general manager who aimed to add his own touch to the place. After that, it changed hands again at the end of 2002 and was renamed Wicked Wolf North. The new owners, realizing that a restaurant alone is not enough to support such a prestigious place, have come in with a concept that blends restaurant with a music venue. They have live music several times a week. Also, they've done some bold renovations, such as painting the dining area a bright red color. As for the menu, they've moved away from the Italian theme that the last few owners have gone for, and have shifted towards more modern comfort food. As for Dean, post the Olde Stone Mill, he started another restaurant with a friend in 2011 called Siena Italian Trattoria. Around that time, he also created his own hunting-themed channel on YouTube called Suburban Adventures with Joe and Dean.
You don't have to be in the Adirondacks or out in the Rocky Mountains or out in Montana to hunt. We didn't grow up on fields and farms. We grew up in the Bronx. We go to Iowa, we go to Kansas, we go to Illinois. Place in a different adventure, in a pond, in a lake. There'll be something on this show for everyone.
However, not all things would eventually go well for Dean and Barbara. A few years later, in 2017, they filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Dean's Italian restaurant he started post the Old Mill would close for good the following year in 2018. Dean continues his acting career, which has spanned more than 4 decades now. Yet he admits he hasn't had any work since the recent Hollywood writers' strike ended. His latest was doing stunt work in the 2020 Bill Murray film On the Rocks. The past few years he has launched another YouTube channel, this one called Cigar Lounge. In fact, in a recent episode, he devotes an entire segment to answering questions that he still receives from Kitchen Nightmares fans.
The vast majority of our emails are about my stint on Kitchen Nightmares. I mean, I get so much hate mail about that show still to this day.
What did he say that pissed you off the most during this thing?
I told him, I care more about this place than you cared about anything in your life. And he goes, what? And I said, did I stutter? When we cut, he went, where did you get that line from? I said, my father used to say it to me all the time. When I would say, what? He would say, did I stutter? They had me on talk shows, Ellen DeGeneres, Jay Leno. They all wanted me to say, did I stutter?
Have you ever been back?
So this is a true story. I went back into the Olde Stone Mill 3 days ago for the first time since the day I walked out. 2011. It was hard feelings and I just didn't want to go back. But I went in and it's like I never left. Like I'm sitting right here where I was. I put those in, I painted that, I cut that. I mean, I built the place. The hostess saw that I was kind of looking around a little bit and she said, you know, you look so familiar. Have you been here before? And I said, yeah. Couple times. And I just walked out.
As for the rest of the folks, Chef Mike, Manager Tom, and the hostess Jeannie, I don't know what happened to them after Kitchen Nightmares. I hope they're doing well though.